Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of Studio Spotlight, where we give bands, businesses, musicians, artists, whatever else, a chance to kind of tell their story, put what they're doing out there, and give a little insight into what's going on behind some of our local, creatives and whatnot. That was a long-winded intro, but today I have a couple of very special guests for y'all. I'm with my boys, Smith Distillery, and I'm super excited.
Yes.
I'm super excited.
Special guest.
I got Gage.
Yeah, what's up?
I got Brandon.
Yo.
And I got Alex.
Howdy.
And I guess we got me, your host and former bass player of this band.
You've been a member of the band before,
I guess I'm kind of a member, but hey,
You're a member for the next.
Yes, you're honorary. Yeah.
I'm a member for the duration of this podcast. Yeah. Well, Gage, you're the leader of this band.
Am I? Is that what?
Is that what we're calling it now?
I guess so. I don't know. Continue. Sorry.
Give us just a tiny little rundown of what y'all how y'all started, where y'all come from, what do you do? Just
Yeah. I got the spiel.
Just the works.
Let's see. It started back, I don't know what, Alex, 5-6 years ago. We're getting old, man.
2017.
2017.
Ish.
What year is it? 2024. So
Almost 10
it's
years.
7 years ago.
That hurts.
We're so old.
That hurts.
But me and you were talking back then, doing little recordings here and there, and playing some gigs here and there. And I'm living in Hunter's Mountain. Alex knows exactly where I'm talking about. Trailer park with some boys from Greenville, and one of them is dating a girl that I knew very well growing up. And one day they're just like, "We're gonna go fishing. We're gonna go fishing." And so that was the first time I met Alex. He came over. We went to his crib to go fishing. And I don't think that was the first time we met. We met at the DB a couple times before that. But
Old DB.
Yeah, the old DB.
We won't get into all that.
We're not going. We might be a long podcast if we do that.
We're going to get there, trust me.
We'll do an extra episode just on the DB.
We're getting deep with this podcast.
Strictly called the DB episode.
Unraveling it.
Yeah.
Last time we were there.
We're going to put that to bed for right there. Anyway, we went fishing. We pulled out the guitars, jammed out a lot. And, after that, I think Alex moved back to Troy. And at that point, we started playing together one night, went in there, really didn't rehearse anything.
Mm.
Played a show, that went well. And then another night, we were going to do an acoustic gig. And then why don't you take over from here, Ro? Tell them how it went, getting old Jake and old Brandon involved in that.
Yeah, so Gage and I started playing at the Trojan Tavern, acoustic gigs.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, we played 4 or 5.
Is that place even still there anymore?
No, it's not there.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Not at
I
all.
hadn't heard that name.
That was a great place.
Hadn't heard that name in a minute.
Yeah. So yeah, we played some acoustic gigs, and then I'll take it back. So me and Brandon were involved with the Magic Train.
Was that before? Yeah.
What is
That
that?
was before. Well, that was during this time.
I'm not going to mention him too much, but Rodney Gilly.
That's right.
Yeah. RG. And,
RG.
So we were affiliated with that.
Where did you go?
Excuse our inside jokes. So yeah, all right. Me, Jake Bostic, and Brandon were friends.
That's right.
Jake Bostic, former bass player of Smith Distillery. We'll get into that later. And we decided to play a gig at the front porch, just me and Gage. Jake was at our house and decided he wanted to play it. Called up Brandon.
He said, we got 3 out of 4 of the band. Why don't we just make it a full band? So he called Brandon.
Yeah, and basically they did the gig for free, and it went great, and that was the birth.
I still remember Brandon to this day.
them.
He's just like, $20 right here. Great night, guys.
Yeah, I think I made maybe 20, 30.
Well, it's funny when you're starting out, getting paid anything for doing what you love like that. It's like, you're happy just making $50 a man. You're just like, oh my God.
Feels like a win.
Yeah.
But to wrap all that up, we it went great, right? Went fantastic, and we were just like, well, we might as well do it again. And we started doing it over and over, and we eventually, came up with the name Smith Distillery. We got that.
We did not come up with
Actually,
the name.
yeah, he's exactly right. We couldn't figure out a good name for the band.
So your name is Gage Smith.
That's right.
And your name's Alex Tillery.
Bingo.
So Smith Distillery, who was the mastermind behind that?
Do you
Who's the
remember?
master?
'Cause
Yes,
remember.
I remember. So
All
we obviously the front porch in Troy. That's the spot.
Right.
Porch.
Porch.
Got to go hang out there if you live in Troy, and we hung out there a pretty good bit. We had our casual friends we'd see there all the time, and we were just asking folks that week. We can't come up with a name. This is his last name. This is my last name. We're trying to put it together and make a band name somehow. What do you think? I can't remember this guy's name, but he was at the porch every single Wednesday, dollar drink night, every single time. And he just didn't even think about it. Just Smith Distillery.
Oh my
And we're
God.
like,
Light bulb.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's it.
we'll do it. That's it.
Smith's Distillery.
So, yeah, no, we're not putting that extra. S.
Whoever this guy is, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Marketing
If you're
mug.
listening to this,
I wanted
marketing.
to interject for just a second because I wanted to apologize to the listeners. This band has a lot of history. I feel like out of all the bands that I personally know and am involved with, a lot of history, a lot of inside jokes,
A lot of inside jokes.
and just stuff that nobody else would get except for us. So
Yeah.
if we say some dumb
We may offend you.
nonsense or just don't think anything of it, be like, that's funny, I would assume.
Yeah, and Fletcher's okay with it because he's been a part of it.
Yeah,
he
exactly.
gets the jokes.
I had to, I had to learn when I joined the band.
I think that's a good little segue right there. So me and you, we've known each other for a long
Right,
time, even
right.
before this group got started.
Yeah, me and you met back when we were in high school.
Yeah.
That Katy Perry cover y'all did.
Oh God.
God,
No.
we're not gonna
Nope.
do not go look that up anywhere.
No. That doesn't
Gage
exist.
deleted the shit.
Did you really?
I don't think I did actually. I deleted one of the other ones.
You should.
Because Brandon just would not leave me alone
No,
one day. Just look at how idiotic you guys look.
Me and Gage, we started doing.
Pulled up at your house.
We did some covers on YouTube way back that were oh man, they were cringy.
Some of them were.
It was pretty bad.
I still remember the Facebook post your dad put up that day that we of that song that Katy Perry covered, and he's just they're doing it their way, trying to make it better.
Thanks, Dad.
Now we're just
They're doing it. their way.
not a good way, whatever it was.
Does he know the story about his dad, about the cell phone thing you told me a while ago?
All right, well, this is last. So I won't put that. All right, so I just told Brandon about this a little while ago. I knew your dad before I knew you, right?
Right.
And because he played at the Georgiana Opry House, little Georgiana music spot where you can go every now and then when they put it together. It's completely free.
Y'all also met at the Hank Williams Songwriting Festival.
And that's what I was getting to. So that led into all of us going to the songwriting thing. And they had a night where you could get up, you can play the song that you wrote that you had already polished up with the actual songwriters there and everything else. And I did one, and it went a lot better than I expected it to. And I had gotten him to film me on that one. And, I got off the stage. Everybody's wanting to talk to me. You guys know how it goes whenever we get done with shows. But that's pretty much what's going on. He's just like, all right, I got that one for you. You go ahead and get this one for me. And I could not stay focused. This person's trying to talk. This person's trying to talk. And I'm like,
and he wants you to film him.
Yeah. And so long story short, he gets off stage. He's like, you got it? And I'm like,
Nope.
oh man, I completely botched that one. I'm pretty sure that's why he calls me the names that he does. Ever since that day,
Never
I would have been
forget.
mad too.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he still holds a grudge. He's bad about that.
Jeez, what the fuck?
But yeah, so after that, we got introduced because he was
Right.
like, "Yeah, Fletcher plays music too," and then we started doing those covers. And
My
Yeah.
first time meeting you, Fletcher, was at the DB.
Was it really?
Yeah, you were playing Cajon
Oh, snap.
for me and Gage. And Jake
Yeah.
Boston
Yep.
came and
Yep.
played bass.
Yep, I remember that was my first paying gig ever.
No,
Wait a
I mean,
minute.
we were doing a
What?
Magic Train
Yep.
gig. Me and you were Brandon. And I was like, hey, I'm about to go play at the DB to Jake. And Jake was like, can I come?
Yeah.
So we just rolled up and played.
Because I remember
I forgot all about
So
that.
we played 2 gigs that night.
It hadn't
Me
been
and
very long after I moved to Troy.
I do
And-
remember that now. Too.
And I was looking for gigs, and you hit me up. I think that show and a frat party where I was playing cajon. Those were literally my first 2 paying gigs ever.
What's the frat that's down there at the other end of the street? I think it's the Deeks, actually.
Yeah,
That's where it was at. I remember that now.
Yep. But yeah, that was crazy. I wasn't even playing bass at that time.
There were some good old boys, and they were like, "Can you add any percussion to this?" I'm like, "I got a guy." You know,
He knows how to hit a wooden box.
I don't even remember where I met you at the first time.
Dude, I don't know. It was probably a Smith Distillery gig. I just showed up one day.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But yeah, I know our mutual friend, David Jackson, was the bass player before me. He was the GOAT, which is
the GOAT.
It's funny. The GOATnest. It's funny because back before those gigs that I played with you on Cajon, I was in a band with David called Orbiter.
I remember. We were in here.
Orbiter.
I think I do remember this now. So we did the "Love You When I'm Gone" cover that you can probably still find. Now.
Yeah.
I'm proud of that one. Like we worked on that guy all day long.
Yeah.
You can probably still find it on YouTube. But
Please don't.
Gone. Yeah, don't do that.
Don't look it up.
Everybody do it.
Blacklist
right
it
now.
And post it in the comments.
Anyway,
let us know your thoughts on
yeah,
it.
let's know your thoughts. I'm actually proud of that.
Give
one,
us
so
your
I wouldn't
critiques
mind
on
it.
a song we put out 12 years ago.
Do better.
We were working on a cover all day long, and David, you guys were here with Nate, and shout out to Nate Jackson wherever you're at. That man put the DJs on the Hughes wedding.
The other GOAT.
First time
the other
DJ.
GOAT, yeah.
Really?
Killed it.
Yeah, that's Nate Jackson is David's brother, the former bass player that we're talking about.
He's also very musically talented, so now he's in like DJ in Auburn, all over the place. But those 2 guys were here, and they were just constantly like, "Are you guys gonna be through with this freaking cover yet?" We were all just like, "No, we got one more take. We got one more take. We got to do one more take until we get it absolutely perfect." And then you guys went in and actually started doing some practicing. I guess everybody was burnt out at the end of that day. I don't know, got a little similar situation going on here. Never mind.
But yeah, it was interesting. Like I think we had formed Orbiter around the same time y'all were really starting.
Boyd was in that band.
Yeah,
was he not?
Boyd Blackman was the guitar player in that band.
Boyd.
Shout out
And-
Boyd.
Shout out Boyd.
God, we could go down so many rabbit
swear.
holes.
That's the
right
thing
now.
with this band. We're like, I'm sorry, we're getting off on so many tangents, everybody.
Yeah.
But like
Fletcher wasn't prepared.
this band is connected, or like every musician in the lower half of Alabama has
Honestly,
been,
you can go out a little bit more than that.
We've
well,
ran-
probably
we've
in the
ran
state
slow.
of Alabama, and then some has like been in this band or involved in this band at some point. Like
Friends,
I swear.
acquaintances somewhere
It's
along
just
the line.
it, like
Or we've all played with people across the
yeah, because
Southeast.
you, Brandon, you play with you fill in with a bunch of people.
filling in every hole I can get in.
What
Here we go. Here we go. It's what we've been waiting on all
right.
I'm gonna spit up my beer.
All right.
Full-time musician. So.
Why don't you
Don't
explain some
read
of the?
into that.
Why don't you go into detail about some of the holes you? Who are some of the bands that you play with?
Describe it. Can you describe it to me?
Because some of the people might know some of the artists you play with.
Yeah.
I mean, you play with some pretty recognizable names in the local scene.
Yeah, well, currently, Smith Distillery, obviously, and play a lot with Blaine Rudd out of Auburn, John Boy Story out of Phoenix City,
Heck yeah.
and play with Josh Buckley and
Oh,
you know, Josh Buckley down there in Dothan, Alabama.
Almighty. We could tell you the amount of
That's a
stories
wild shot.
about
You need
this
to get
guy.
his ass on here.
but yeah, Josh Buckley, Blaine Rudd, and John Boy Story. Those are pretty like
Yeah,
decent sized names locally. Like
yeah. They've made a little noise, I guess.
Played
For sure.
Gulf Coast Jam with John
Yeah, we
Boy.
played Gulf
Yep.
Coast Jam last year, and the year before that with John Boy. We won the contest down there at Miss Newbies, so that was pretty fun.
So do you kind of operate as a what I call like a hired gun drummer? Like, are you part of that band, or you just fill in when they need you for certain shows?
I mean, I'm part of the band.
Okay.
I mean, I'm in every one of the bands, and we
Oh,
just
okay.
try to make them all work.
Right, try to
Yeah.
work the schedule. Well, that's what I wonder, because like sometimes it's hard when you're in more than two
Yeah.
bands. Schedules start to conflict. But
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
Tell me about
it-
it.
Yeah.
if you can make
We
it
bitch at
work,
each
I
other all the
mean,
time for that.
if you can make it work, and all the power to you. It's just tough sometimes, but that's
Yeah, it's tough, but Hey, it's better than working 9 to 5 somewhere. So
I will agree with that.
You want to know something, Brandon?
Gotta make
I
it work.
remember when we first got this deal together. There was a night we were playing at the booth in Tuscaloosa. Shout out to the Big Bad Booth up there on University. But
Shit
we were
hole.
playing.
Boy.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our
Lost
earlier
those shirts.
gigs. A lot of our earlier gigs were in T-Town. But anyway, this night, I can't remember what you did. You did something bad. And Chad?
I got
Chat.
fired
Yeah.
for playing gigs.
It was so
What?
sad. I was trying to like cheer him up all night. And I told him, I'm like, you could probably do this.
Wait,
But like just play music all the time.
Oh, yeah.
wait, you got fired?
So,
Well, I had a-
he had a job. The
Yeah,
next
regular
day.
job,
Yeah.
office job.
I
And
can't imagine that.
the guy I was playing for.
A drummer with a job.
it was
What the hell?
Yeah, I was an industrial supply salesman.
That's even funny.
Making deals on the phone.
Wheeling
Yeah.
and dealing.
And we were playing a gig 3 hours away.
Yeah,
Maybe 4 for you.
yeah. It was Tuscaloosa. I worked in Dothan, so
And he had to work the next day. And the guy, he was going to be at work, but I'm pretty sure the guy just got mad at you just for playing shows because that guy was trying to be a musician too, right?
yeah, trying to be.
Trying. We actually had to play. Should we go into this?
He's just
No, no.
petty. That's,
Yeah.
that's stupid.
Actually, that old man was when we played that gig. Remember, he was up in Tuscaloosa, and that's how he's seen us.
I did not
remember?
know that.
I didn't know that either. I
Remember
thought
that old man come up to y'all and was talking to you, but he was at Chad's house that we played that gig for his governor thing or whatever.
Okay, yeah. I
I was
mean,
like, of all the people. So I got fired for playing gigs on my time off. So
That's
I've been doing that
wild.
full time since 2018.
Didn't even have the chance to make it in the next day.
Yeah, actually, I drove all the way back to be there.
I'm
and
I'm just assuming you're not going to show up for work tomorrow.
motherfucker changed the locks on the door. Didn't talk to me no more. Blocked me on his phone. I'm like, what kind
Oh my
of
God.
childish shit is this, man?
I told him that night. I'm like, man, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, you can do this full
I
time
was
and
about
you'll
to
be
say-
all
I
right.
was about to
Best thing
say
that ever
you,
happened to
you
me.
could make just as
Thanks,
money,
Chad.
just as much money, if not more. Playing
Yeah.
shows.
The only problem with playing music all the time for money that I've seen is just like the taxes with it. Like, that's the
Really?
only thing that if I had a personal accountant, I really wouldn't care. But
Right.
like doing it yourself, it blows.
Yeah.
Alex Hillary.
It's not
Personal
fun having to
account.
keep track of
Former
all that stuff yourself. When you work for an employer. I mean, which I guess it's that way with any like self-employment type thing. It's
I've kind of gone both. There's going to be a joke here. I've kind of gone both ways with that, right? I work a full-time job.
what did you mean by that?
Yeah. So I'm working like a salaried, like 40-hour week job right now.
Sell
And-
out.
What do you do?
Yeah, I'm the general manager of a therapy clinic where we get rid of pain, discomfort,
That is not what the hell
and
that is.
tightness by practitioner assisted stretching. I know. You guys asked. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, like, I feel like with that, there's so many unnecessary taxes that gets taken out, like, because they have to. And then at least with the self-employed, like, musician work, you can figure out most of the time a way to write off the majority of that.
Oh,
So
for
you
sure.
made
yeah.
all that money.
For sure.
And y'all, if y'all ever in Birmingham, shout out Stretch Zone. Gage Smith will be there. Y'all come in for a free
Come see
stretch.
me for your
Stretch
complimentary
zone.
consultation.
There's a joke somewhere in
Free
there
stretch.
too.
I've been meaning to
Stretch
go
zone.
there and do that.
Gage,
Yeah, I really,
I've been meaning to drop by and let you stretch me out.
Do you have any female stretchers?
I have, yeah, I do actually. I hope they don't hear this, but you wouldn't be, you'd be happy with them stretching you. How about that?
Yeah, not that I wouldn't want you to stretch me.
I would prefer Gage.
No lie, it's like physical therapy. So y'all can make all the jokes you want, but I've helped a lot of people doing what I do.
Yep.
So.
I'm
No,
sure.
I think it's great.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
That's
It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. Man,
Getting back to it, yeah, like when I joined the band, I'm trying to remember like when I even started playing bass
this was
with
after
with you guys.
we should go down like a time scale of like
And
Yeah.
that's
everything.
that's
Members.
Tidy white.
right.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to figure out without going.
I got this at the Salty Goat last week.
I wish
bad,
you
I didn't
guys
cut
could
you off
see
with-
like our setup right
Alex,
now.
Alex has a Corona right now with Tidy Whitey's koozie on right now.
This was a
It's truly something to behold.
courtesy of a guest at a show that put it in the tip bucket.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Put your wieners through there. Put that on your wiener.
Does it have the little hole?
Oh man.
Got holes. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So like you were talking about a timeline. It's like, yeah, it'd be cool to do that, but I feel like we could also be here for 5 hours talking about
I mean, I'm here for it. Well,
That's
you got
true, too.
responsibilities, but
like all the members that have kind of come and gone and been a part. Like, all right, we could start with just the people that are in this room, but I would also hate to leave out like Jake Bostic and David.
The biggest, a lot of the biggest players here are going to be the bass players.
Yeah, I was about to say it's honestly kind of bass players that.
Yeah, we've I
Come
don't want
and
to say
go.
struggled with bass players, but keeping them in the band has been a struggle.
Yeah,
Right.
it's been.
they've all kind of
It's
went
been a
their own
challenge.
ways. Well, Jake moved to Nashville, and David decided to pursue other activities in life.
After that, it's kind of
What's so funny about that, Fletcher?
I don't know.
it's kind of a
Shout out David
full,
for real.
yeah. Shout out to David Jackson.
We love
One of
David.
the best bass
He's a
players
dad
we've
now.
Ever had.
I'm
Yeah.
a new dad now.
David Jackson and Key West, though. Damn.
Oh
Y'all
my
should've seen
God,
it.
Key West. We've got to talk about
Yeah,
Key
we-
West.
I'm
All right,
sorry.
so I wasn't here for
I'm
this.
sorry, Fletcher, keep
I
cutting
wasn't
you
here
off.
for this. I'm gonna pass this off to you guys. Tell me about the Key West trip because
All
I
right,
know that
Brandon.
was like pretty legendary in y'all's.
All right. Well, we
Take
had
it
the
away.
gigs. Josh had the gigs, and he couldn't make it because he's a firefighter.
Josh Buckley, right?
Yeah, Josh Buckley. And so he passed them off to me, and I sing too and play drums. So I said, I'll do a couple singing, and then Gage them happened to be off of work or whatever the case was. And I was like, well, damn, let's all go down there and have a Smith Distillery.
Summertime, just like it is right now. So we all had.
Oh, yeah,
less
y'all were in college
obligations.
then. That's right.
Yeah, we were in college. This is a 2-week deal too,
Yeah.
right?
5 nights a week,
Yeah.
Wednesday through Sunday of hell.
I'm getting tired.
Let me
I'm getting
backtrack.
tired
I
just
mean,
thinking about it.
Let me
that's-
backtrack and
Cowboy
and-
Bill, shout out.
That's work. That's not even playing anymore. That's a job.
Can I backtrack before we even got to Key West on what happened?
Go for it, man.
Me and Gage played a gig on 30A at Peddler's Pavilion.
We got to shout out to Peddlers. They've,
Shout out Peddlers. We play a lot of gigs down there during the summer.
man,
So we took my old truck down there.
probably be there tonight, to be honest.
Yeah. On the way back, me and Gage broke down about 30 minutes outside of Panama City. My rear end went out on my truck. And
I remember that.
and
God
we sat on the side of whatever highway that is for like 4 hours.
It ain't 98, but it meets
I think
98.
it's 79.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thankfully, one of my stepfather's friends came and got my truck. And we went back to your buddy's house.
I think David came and got y'all,
And
didn't he?
David Jackson came and picked us
David
up.
drove all the way to Panama City
Damn,
Beach,
David was
Florida
a-
to get us because
my God.
we couldn't drive his truck.
From
Yeah, my
where?
truck
From
was
Troy
screwed.
or what?
Yeah.
PCB, from Troy.
Wow.
Troy to PCB to get us and then back to Troy. And then we had maybe like an hour to get our stuff together. And then we were taking off.
Yeah,
like
meet me at my house and
14-hour
go.
ride.
Yeah. So I'll let you take
Yeah,
it
I'm
from
glad
there,
you brought
Brandon.
that up because that was
Yeah, that was hell.
Yeah, I forgot about
definitely
that.
worth mentioning.
That was just like a
Terrible
bad
time.
omen. It's
So
like
there was
really
one
was.
point we were on the side of the highway, and like I'm honestly like we've been drinking at Peddlers a little bit. I was feeling good, and I took a little nap, you know. And
Drinking and driving.
There's at one point Alex reached over like, "Gage, wake up, wake up!" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Is that somebody right there outside your window? He's about to come get us right now." I'm like, "There ain't nobody out there, bro."
Dude, there
Go
was
back to
somebody out
sleep.
there. I saw like a flashlight in the middle of nowhere.
What about,
So it was sketchy, to say the least. It was sketchy.
what about the time your tire blew out or something and you called Alex to come help you and he didn't make it to the next morning, so you just got in the back seat of your truck on the side of the interstate and went to sleep.
This is a lot longer down the timeline here.
all right, let's go in chronological order.
Let's get back to
All
Key
right.
West.
So we're heading down to Key West.
All right, Key West. Like I
14-hour
said,
drive.
Yeah, long ass way. We all switching positions.
I bet you did. Bet you did.
You can't have Brandon on a podcast without making sexual references the whole time.
This is fun, man. I like this. I'm glad you have us here, Fletcher.
Dude, I'm glad to have y'all.
Yeah, can we thank Fletcher one time? Shout out
Dude.
Fletcher for having us.
God.
Shout out
Guys.
to Evergreen
Guys.
Studios.
I'm
He's flattered.
I am. I'm glad to get y'all all together. I'm just hoping this podcast doesn't just go off the rails.
This will be
Get
the
too
most
wild.
unorganized
So
podcast
This
you've ever
is
had.
by far the most chaotic group
Yeah.
of guys I've ever known in my entire life, and I love them for it. So
We love you too.
if it sounds like a crazy mess when we're talking, it is.
Yeah, it is.
And just roll with
That's
the punches.
every time we get together.
Just roll with the punches. It'll be worth it at some point.
So-
I promise.
We're going down to Key West, and it's a long drive, right? And I wasn't too terribly fond of the idea when I was going down with them.
You were
but
not excited
I
for
really
this.
wasn't.
I was
And,
stoked for this.
I'll get to what happened during in a little bit, but it was work, like you said.
Right.
Earlier. It was
It's like
work.
7 days of playing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
times 2.
14 days.
Yeah, so
It was 2 weeks, yeah.
we had a couple days off while we were down there, but I mean, these guys had actually been down there with Brandon's solo group earlier,
Yeah.
so they had one
That's
run.
right, you
They
did
had
that.
Yeah, I played that one.
they had the experience. They know what to do, right? It was my first time. I'm like, they broke me in right,
Oh, yeah. Gage had never been on the road for us, and I've been on the road with some guys, so I was like, damn, I got to show them what the
You
road life
scared
is
you were
like.
about to get stretched out?
Golly, I'll tell you one time. We're hungover as hell, like we were every single day, and we're just trying to sleep till about 12. We started at 9 every night, something
Yeah.
like
Played
that.
till 1.
Yeah,
We had a band house right by the bar, too,
Yeah.
so it was
Yeah.
very convenient.
It was very convenient, but one morning we're trying to sleep. We're all hungover, and I'm talking about me, Alex, and David. And Brandon had this routine of going straight to Fat Tuesdays every single morning. He's gonna get him one of those little mixed drinks, and he's gonna come right back. He's gonna get us up, and we're gonna try to go do something. And one
get
morning
up.
we were
Let's go.
not having it, and all we hear. Look out, coconut! And he starts throwing coconuts up
my
the stairs at
God.
us while we're asleep.
Oh my God.
In this old house, this wood floor is bam.
Yeah, I
bam.
swear he broke a few boards doing that. But like,
I'm about taking the broom and jabbing the roof with it. Wake up, wake up.
I think I never hated you, but I hated you that trip.
we all had some hard feelings that trip.
Hey, he finally he got it back because
Oh,
He did.
yeah.
He did. We got to talk about this. So the thing with Key West, just like a lot of like beach towns, is you got the scooters, right?
Right. Yeah.
You got the scooters you can drive around and rent. And so that was our main way of transportation because this asshole wouldn't take us anywhere. to
Right.
go
It's so
do
hard to get
anything.
in and out if anybody's ever been there.
So
Y'all
we
know.
would all went and got scooters, and after the shows, that would be what we did.
It's about 4 a.m.
Yeah, because
my God.
everywhere else was closed except the strip club, and I don't think we went to the strip club while we were there. So,
Mr. Z's pizza was open.
yeah, we'd usually go ride the scooters around a little bit, get something to drink, and go get a pizza, and then it'd be about daylight when we went to sleep.
Oh my
So,
God.
One
wash,
night-
wash, rinse, repeat.
yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
One night we're riding around, looking at the iguanas, and riding around the beach, and we go through this cemetery. There is a roundabout in the cemetery, and Brandon's in the head of the pack. He's the head of the pack.
No, the cemetery ain't in the roundabout, but it's okay. The roundabout, okay. It's all good. Keep going.
All right, whatever you say.
With the semantics. Come on.
Roundabout.
Say it.
Roundabout.
Everyone will think we're
Brandon's
dumb.
leading the way, and all of a sudden, like he leans a little bit too hard into the roundabout, and he eats it. I mean, like
Got me.
he
Ate me.
got it bad. He was
On the
skin
pavement.
up all over his leg, from his shin, from his foot all the way up to his kneecap on both legs.
I was behind him. I saw it happen.
Yeah,
I was trying to
rough.
lean a little too much like the racing motorcycles, and that didn't happen. The damn peg caught one of the bricks because it was a brick
Like the curb.
roundabout.
I
Yeah.
didn't
No,
notice
like
that.
a
I
brick,
just
like your
thought you
driveway.
weren't
Oh,
talented.
okay. Like, yeah.
From my perspective, it was so funny because
It was
you
pretty funny from
you
my
fell
perspective, too.
and then like you got up and then I didn't see you again.
And as soon as he got up, he didn't say a word to us. He took off,
Soon,
going
dog.
back straight to the van house. He's like, I'm in shame right now. I gotta go back.
Pretty much.
Dude, I've
shit
had
hurt.
that happen where I'm trying to do something cool and I fall and just like screw it up so hard. And it's like, whatever, walk it off, Fletcher, walk it off. Like, don't look at anybody.
Well, no, I had just hurt myself. I tried to get up as quick as I hit the ground just because, I'm like, damn. And then,
honestly
not to
had us
mention, I was
worried.
wrecking in front of all my friends like an idiot. Like,
He honestly had us
I'm done.
worried
My
a little
ride's
bit,
over.
too.
I'm going. Back to the
I
house.
was like, Brandon, are you okay? Are you okay?
Both of your kneecaps are just bleeding.
Oh, I
all the
still
way
got
down.
scars.
Dang.
Yeah. Golly, I see it right now.
And bricks tore you up.
I
You know,
Pavers got you, man.
You live and learn.
But yeah, that's a long 2 weeks. It's a fun 2 weeks, but it's a long 2 weeks.
It was a good experience, but by the time it was over and done with, I was
Ready
like,
to go.
We could do a whole podcast on everything that
I was
happened.
about to say, I know
week,
y'all
but-
have played some like crazy gigs over the years, but I know that's one that y'all consistently bring up as like that was like a milestone for y'all for sure. It was
definitely a first.
it's like a time capsule that
It's
y'all can go back to.
Party Central. That's why.
Yeah.
It's like Las Vegas.
Yeah, you
but
kind of get lost.
Lord
Yeah,
help
it's
us,
just
No
we all
rules down
make it
there,
out there
pretty
in one
much.
no
show.
concept of time,
Yeah.
anything like that. It's just you're just doing things.
Yeah, but shit stays open from like 8 a.m. to about 4 in the morning.
Wow.
So you don't have much time.
Right.
Well, there's nothing going on.
No downtime, yeah. Man,
So it's a fun time, y'all. If y'all want to go down there, y'all should do it. And,
Definitely.
for 2 weeks.
My dad
Onward.
just went to Key West.
strap on
this
your
past week. Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to Dante's. Shout out to Cowboy Bills.
Dante's, yeah. Gage
There's
is making
just-
out with some random girl in the pool. If you're listening to this,
Hey, what do you want me to do? Like, it was a nice sunny day, just like we've had out here today.
Yeah, we all
Just
got
out
it. It's
there.
all right. we was all having
Her
a
and
good
the
time,
friends
y'all.
started coming all around, and I had to put the
It has
thing
been a
on,
nice
you know?
it has been a nice sunny day, Gage. It's been a beautiful
It's been
day.
a long sunny day.
It's been a long, beautiful sunny day.
Wait on Alex's ass to get here.
Yeah. I drove all across the state to get here just for this podcast.
No, I'm totally messing with you, man. We've had a good day.
Hey, I'm here now. So
Yeah.
It's been a good one, man.
It's been a good one.
Take a little segue for a second.
Nobody cares about me, you know. I wanna promote you guys. I know we've been recording a few songs over the past couple of years,
Yeah,
and I didn't know if y'all wanted to promote those.
that's coming back, just so you know.
Oh God.
What? He said, edit that.
Yeah, no, there's we got one coming out. We're gonna release it on the 4th of July and give us about a month of promo work and all that stuff. But Still Had You is what it's called, and we are all like 90s or Brandon's old ass might be in the 80s, but
I was more than 80s, motherfucker. 91.
we're all 90s babies in
Stop
here.
pushing
Yeah.
them into the grave, man.
So we just we felt like we wanted to write a song that was reminiscing on all the things that we don't have anymore. That was just like a tell for that time,
right.
and that's what the song's about. It's a good old like classic countries like 80s song,
Right.
you know,
I like it a
80s
lot.
90s country.
I had a lot of fun working on it. I'm stoked for people to hear it.
Yeah, we are too for sure.
Yeah, that was a good day. We was hanging out at Alex's house. I was like, damn, we need to write a song. We need to quit bullshit.
That's how you know.
Get
for
the ball
real.
rolling a little
Right.
bit.
Whenever a song comes together, like that. That's how you know it's gonna be a
It
good
came
one.
together
Yeah.
so quick. I know we've had some songs
Drag on.
in the past that took way too long, and I you know.
Tell us how
think-
you really feel about that.
Beer
All right.
cans, come on now.
All right, we're airing out all our dirty laundry today. Nah, man. So we had a song called "Beer Cans in the Bushes" that I produced, mixed, mastered, all that stuff, and I think it just took us a long time to get it to the point that it is today. And I feel like this isn't, downing that song at all, but just songs in general or any kind of like art where you overthink it too much and kind of like get hung up on little details. I think it kind of detracts from like the original vision of the song. And this song, Still Had You, is like the complete opposite.
Total opposite.
Complete
all
opposite.
that to say that this song is not that.
Yes, that's what I was getting to. It's like this new song, it came together in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, it was written, recorded,
Well, it's just
mixed.
a simple country song, you know?
Yeah, but I feel like that's
When they got it, they got it. You know?
it's whether it's simple or complicated lyrics or what, but it's just like it just fell into place.
And I do.
And we didn't get hung up on anything, and because of that, it's like, man, that's it. I don't know.
I do want to like put out. We did, like every song, you gotta like micro tune it a little bit, right? But this one was, very minuscule when it came to that, as far as lyrics, as far as lead guitar solo. I think you did like what 2 runs at it, and you're just like, yeah, that's pretty good.
2 or 3
Pretty good
takes.
Yeah.
we
These
had the
things
guitar
take
solo.
time.
one. Here we go. Tangent time.
Got a little buzz, y'all.
But yeah, it's interesting. Like that happens with that could be with any band or any like form of art where it's just don't overthink it.
Yeah.
Just put it out there,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
if it's not what you 100% wanted, you can take that lesson and learn from it and make the next one better and quicker, and that way, like it just.
Well, yeah, like I said, I guess we're our own worst critics, and then
Oh, of course.
I'm just sitting there
1000%.
listening, like, that could be different. That could be different. You know,
Right.
could probably do that all day long.
Yeah, and musicians are the worst about that. Like we're all just like super critical of our own stuff because
Yeah.
we're constantly comparing it to every other musician
Yeah.
on the planet.
First, the John Wayne attitude. We got through with that. So if we're going back to a timeline real quick,
Right.
sometime around the Key West trip, we found a studio in Fort Walton Beach called Enlighten Studios. And their whole gimmick is you come play a full show for them, do it free. They're going to record, mix, and master one song of your choosing. And, you know, they're going to send that to you. You can use that for promo work, all that good
Right.
stuff. So we wound up going to do that. And first of all, on that song, we put that guy together like pretty quickly. But,
Yeah. That's a good
the
one.
point I'm trying to make, it is a good one. Our first one, John Wayne Attitude. It's on all streaming platforms. If you guys want to look us up, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do
Plug
the
it.
thing a little bit. You know, that was the first time we put one together really quick. The point I'm trying to make to that is like us critiquing everything.
Mhm.
You know, a week after we had put it out,
Right.
we go back and start listening to some Coetzel, and we're like,
Yep. This is what that song could be.
Man.
Yeah.
oh man, that's really close, you know. So we changed some chords around and stuff like that. But like if you put them back to back,
Right.
you can see where we got some influence from, like
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I was just playing along.
That's new information to me.
I think like me, you, and David were listening to a lot of Coat at the time.
That was when he was first
Yeah.
getting big, you know.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, David did help write that one.
A lot. Yeah, he definitely did.
So, how does the writing process work with y'all? I know y'all all kind of write songs. Is it usually like one person pitches a song idea, or is it like a collaborative effort where y'all get together and?
The best situation,
Uh
the
huh.
ideal situation, is just like, you know, the deal with Still Had You, the one that's about to come out. So
Mhm.
we were together that day, you know, for a show that we had that night. And me and Brandon are just riding around. We had just went to the store for something. We're heading back to Alex's pad. Like we were all together, you know, before the show that day.
Right.
And you know, we start picking around at this song. We're, you know, it's just coming together very easy. We're all together on it.
Mhm.
And you know, after that, that's the initial like, hey, first draft.
Right. We've
Yeah.
got
I
something.
think I had a little piece of something like that with the idea of Still Had You in it. I'll just be thinking of lyrics that go together and
Yeah.
put them in and use that idea to go with, you know, start the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but after that, we were all together. It all just came together. It's one of those that we all, I mean, kind of got a tie to, I guess. We're all 90s babies again. So,
Right.
like, I mean, there's certain
Except for
lines in the
Brandon.
song. You
Except
know?
for Brandon, he's a '70s baby.
Yeah.
Apparently.
There's all lines in the song, you know, that we can relate to. So, after we get the first draft done, we all, I think, you know, if we're, you know, going to be using Evergreen Records for sure, like I'll come down here after we've gotten at least the acoustic and the lyrics done,
Right.
and we'll get that draft.
Yeah.
What you use to record all the other instruments? What would you call that?
Kind of like a scratch.
Yeah.
A scratch track. I feel like a lot of people don't know like how music is
Yeah.
recorded most of the time. Like, and I mean, my method's not the only way, but I know it's a popular way where you come in with the lyrics and the acoustic guitar, and we lay down a scratch track, kind of get the skeleton of the song. Then Brandon or whoever I hire for the drums will come in and slap the drums on top of that, kind of like set the energy and the dynamics for the song.
Yeah.
And then whenever Alex has some free time, we get him to come in. And,
Whenever I feel like it.
yeah,
Get all that
whenever
mess
the
out.
mood strikes him, we'll get him to come record some electric guitar, and then I'll throw some bass on it. And then it's
So
up to
on that
me
note,
to-
Fletcher is our studio bassist.
Yeah.
100%.
Which I didn't even realize until earlier.
You
but it's
are,
just-
yeah. We
it's
just sitting out by the pool, like he's played bass on every single song, original
I play
song.
bass on I play bass on like every project that comes through here, and I don't know how I get roped into that. It's just
You're a good bass player. What do you?
You
want me
never
to
left
say?
the band, is what we're
You
trying to
never
say.
left the band. Yeah, you're still a part of this.
Hey, I just know I
You
got,
like
that
it or
feed.
not.
I got fired, but I'm still in it.
Yeah. Can we talk about Fletcher getting fired from the band?
Yeah, no, it's not even really that funny to me. It's just life, you know.
No,
Like
You got fired?
well, yeah, because I joke about it because Gage called me and it was such like a mutual agreement. So like
Yeah.
I'm in a band as well as Alex. We're in a band called Fence, which is like my primary band, and I'll fill in with other bands here and there. And so after David Jackson left y'all's group, y'all needed a bass player, and I was kind of like the permanent fill-in.
yeah,
Or temporary.
that's a good description of it.
It's like you're kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and like I would help y'all out as often as I could. But Fence always.
A lot of times in that time frame, we would have to find somebody, send them a set list, to play
Right,
shows
'cause-
that we needed to play to make money.
Right, because if Fence had a show, that was my priority. But anytime I could help y'all out, I absolutely would.
And for the most part, he was there for just about all of them. But eventually, it got to the point where
Yeah,
learning
it
some
got to the
country
point. It
music,
got to the
too.
point one day. I remember. I think I was at a Fence show. I think we were at like Summer Nights in East Chase or something. We were walking around, and Gage called me. He was like, "Hey, man." I
I
think
make
we
those
got,
calls a lot.
I
if
think
you
we got to
don't
do
believe me.
something different. And I was like, yeah, I knew this was coming. Like it was totally like, because I felt bad, having to let y'all down for more than a few shows. And but I always just thought I just make the joke. Like I think I called Jake and Coda, my other band members, like right afterwards. I was like, dude, Smith Distillery just fucking fired me.
So you talked to Gage, then you talked to Jake and Coda, then you called me, and I was just like, yeah, man. It is what it is.
Another bass player down.
This
We
is
still
is that?
love you, bro.
Was that number 7?
No, you were actually the first one after David at
Wow.
that point in time. But after you're
Yeah.
getting to a good point. We went through it a lot.
But yeah, it's just funny. I always make that joke. It was such a mutual agreement, but I was just like, damn.
Well, I think at the
Got
time
fired.
we just needed like somebody that could really
consistent,
commit. 'Cause
you know,
we were
like-
playing a lot of
That's
shows
the
at
first
that
I've heard
time.
about this.
Yeah, man.
No, it is not.
Gage fired my ass.
Yeah, then we showed up with a new
Still
bass
hate
player.
In a way,
Brandon was like-
but at the same time, he's still an employee. So Smith Distillery Incorporated.
I'm there anytime you need me, and I can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it all works, man.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's a good topic right there. Just the hired gun musician.
Man, you got to be
Um,
flexible in this business for sure. Like,
mean-
you got to be willing to learn 30 songs for a show at the drop of a hat and show up and fill in when and where you're wanted.
So for with people
Yes.
like me and Brandon, it's honestly I think a little bit easier for us because if somebody is just looking for a duo, a trio, a solo, you
Right.
can, as long as you can front the deal,
Right.
most of the time you can figure out somebody that's wanting to make a little extra money that night. Then you're just
Right.
gonna have to dumb the set list down and just go from there.
Right.
But if you are somebody who's just bassist, drums,
Mm-hmm.
like that's your one primary instrument that you do.
Right.
That's when it can get a little difficult, and you just got to be willing to take it where it goes.
But, I mean, a lot of the people I play with, we all play the same songs pretty much. So.
Well, yeah,
It's a lot of country music.
A
And
lot of them. It's a lot of country, classic rock, some pop rock, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But I mean, I know there was a few weeks back when Brandon, you hit me up for that Jason Jones gig over in
Yeah.
Troy. You hit me up literally an hour and a half before the show. And it took me an hour and a half to get to Troy.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Hey, you want this show?" And I was like,
how it
"Man,"
goes,
I was like, "How much does it pay?" He told me. I was like, "Be there in a minute." I just had to listen to the set list on the way. Half of those songs I'd never even heard, so
Yeah.
it was just like,
We did all
You
right.
did fine.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of fall into it.
It happens. I mean,
Yeah.
When you do that enough times, you kind of learn like how to hang with other musicians.
I just want to take a second to shout out to our bass player, current bass player, Josh
yes,
McAvoy.
Josh
Yes,
McAvoy.
Josh McAvoy.
Yeah,
Boy.
he's
he's on the way to the beach for the show that we have to play tomorrow down there, and he's got a full family, full-time job, and all that jazz too.
He
So
used to play with Trey Lewis.
Trey Lewis,
Really?
He's getting
Did-
dick
oh, yeah.
down in Dallas.
down in Dallas.
That guy.
That's crazy.
but he's been great. He's been fully committed. Does everything
Very
we ask him to.
consistent, you know?
Never complains.
Heck yeah.
Great guy. Great hang.
Yeah,
yeah.
great
dude.
hang too. Like he's obviously personality is going to be a big aspect of the
yeah.
band. Like he's always cutting jokes and you know talking to us about real shit at the same time. Like he's a really good dude.
He's told us some stories. He's been there and done that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I would be willing to say that like being a good hang is almost more important than your like level of musicianship.
Yeah.
Like it's close. It's like a 40-60 split somewhere, but like being a good hang is just so crucial.
I'm thinking about a band right now where literally the guy that is this musician in this band, he doesn't do anything. He goes out and he starts, you know, just headbanging the whole show. He's in front of an entire kit with anything he wants to chime in on, but he's just headbanging the whole show. That's all he does.
Frank Fletcher?
Man. No, they're up there. They're up there. They were with Hank the other weekend at the BJCC. One of the first
Not
Whiskey
Musk.
Myers.
Whiskey Myers. Oh, yeah.
That's who I'm thinking about. So they have like this one accessory percussionist, and I know his job now. He plays the piano for all of those like laid back
Those ballad songs. Yeah.
But other than that, like that's his main instrument. Like if they don't have that in the song,
He's just on stage.
And
just
I heard,
being crazy.
I heard that that's the singer's brother, and they started writing a whole lot of the songs together. And so, you know, obviously your brother's going to be a good hang, you know? So that's the point I'm trying to make.
Right.
Like, you can get pretty high up there
Oh yeah,
if you got a good personality.
1,000%. That goes to anybody who's listening to this that like wants to get into music and start gigging. Like, don't worry about it too much. Just be cool and just do what you can, and you'll get gigs. Like you'll
Have good work
you'll get
ethic,
hired. You'll
be a
make money. Just
decent
do it.
human
Don't
being.
have a huge ego,
Yes,
especially coming in.
yeah.
If you do that, you will, you're out the door.
You're done.
It ain't happening.
We're
for
not
you.
Nashville cats, but it all works the same.
Oh yeah.
It all works the same.
And we were talking about that earlier. We
Yeah.
were talking about out by the pool. Like, I am not jealous of the Nashville like circuit at
Me
all.
either, at
No.
all.
Me
Where
neither.
I
I respect the ones who do.
You were
I
you were
res-
up there not too terribly long ago. What's the going rate for like base pay for a show in Nashville right
like on Broadway.
It just depends where you play, really. I know Tootsie's, they ain't really nothing but $80 for the.
Well, you're working. Yeah,
and that's gone up since what I heard.
And is that a 4-hour time slot?
yeah, that's just the
God,
base pay.
that's
But some other
crazy.
bars pay about $200. I think like Miranda's and Luke's.
Right.
Yeah,
Which
the
I mean,
big
that's
ones.
that's getting there.
I
But
heard,
that's
like,
still like
Jimmy Buffett's right there. Kid Rock's in the front room during the day.
yeah. You're
50,
working off the
75
tips.
bucks.
Yeah, it's,
You're
And that's it.
primarily off the tips.
yeah. But the
And
thing
you're
is,
working shifts.
but the thing is, if you get like a garbage shift, you know, you're working like after lunch. You're working from 1 to 5.
Well,
or
you could
something.
get a
Like, there's not-
10 a.m. to 10 a.m. shift to 2 p.m. and
Right.
barely have a crowd.
Yeah,
and
'cause
with
I'm-
$50 base pay.
There's so many restaurants in there like trying to get everybody's attention. Like the chances
Yeah.
of you having a good tipping lunch crowd is so small. So like,
Yeah.
and you're out there working your heart out. So like, I think that, you know, the Alabama music scene, like, well, it's not the best in the world for anything other than country and some Southern
It's
rock and
better
stuff.
though than
I think you can feasibly make a much better living doing music full time than you can doing the Broadway.
Yeah, well,
scene, like,
that's
it's
just it's debatable. It depends on what shifts
yeah.
you get on, I guess, or
Depends
like
on what type
Well, hell, I
Um,
knew a buddy of ours. I'm not going to mention his name, but he told us he made $300,000 last year playing music in Nashville, and I
God.
don't believe that shit.
Yeah,
Well-
well, then you could meet somebody who says, "I only made $10,000
Look at all the
last
street
year."
Well,
Well, that's the
yeah.
thing.
Come on, man.
Nashville, I feel it has more upward potential. It has more upward potential, but it has way less consistency. And yeah, I feel like consistency is key. If you're trying to make this full time, you don't want to like gamble on your financial stability and
Yeah.
just be like, oh, I hope they tip
And
me
so,
today.
Yeah.
getting back
it's
to your point, like in Alabama, to do that, you just gotta have like good. What's the word I'm looking for? You gotta have a good book of business, and you gotta keep it right.
Yeah.
And make sure that these are all good quality shows. Like all
Right.
of your members are getting paid what they need to base wise,
Right.
because this definitely isn't Nashville. I mean, unless we go to places like here in the Panhandle of Florida at this time of year, they're just going to be throwing it because honestly, I think they're trying to get rid of it so they don't have to pay their taxes. But
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like unless you get one of those spots, you're not going to get a whole lot of places in the Alabama scene that's going to be very good tip money.
Yeah.
Right.
You
Right.
gotta do
Yeah.
it.
I feel like there's 3 categories of how you can make good money in the Southeast if you're a band or a musician. There's just going around playing all the dive bars in Alabama. That's one way.
Right.
There's the touristy spots like Florida, Gulf Shores,
Fort Walton.
Yeah.
and there's one that is called the private sector, being fraternities and
that's
weddings.
where the money's at.
Yeah.
Because the fraternities down here are not, and sororities are not like the ones in the Northeast or the or far West or whatever. They got it.
They got daddy's money.
They got daddy's money. And
Alex, you used to be a Sigma Nu.
yeah, I was. And I loved it. But we love live music and we love bands and everybody. The music scene in these college towns is huge, and they're willing to pay.
And that's kind of
for good
interesting.
music.
Yeah,
They want to
and-
see you play.
And that's a cool segue because you are actually a booking agent for a company called Music Garden,
yes.
and you work really closely with all these fraternities and sororities and that kind of stuff, and kind of talk budgets with them, and help get bands that fit the vibe of their party and stuff. And I think that's just really cool because so you know more about the private sector than most like average musicians do. Like
Yeah.
you work in that.
And you could really build your brand and build a following with doing that. And even if you're not trying to do that, and you just want to hang out in that sector, it's feasible.
Well, and I feel like the private sector, you said there were 3 categories. I feel like the private sector is actually divided into 2. So you've got the frat, like the Greek parties, and then you've got the weddings.
Yeah, I
Which-
just put them into one.
Yeah, but they're 2 different vibes because
is.
the wedding thing, you kind of get locked into only being a cover band. And I feel like you cap out at a certain point where it's like you can only do so much. Like they're not going to want to listen to a full original set or anything unless you're a huge name band. And at that
Yeah.
point, you're not playing weddings.
At that point, it's just got to be, does the wedding party know the group?
Exactly.
And I meant, more regional bands starting out. Like these is your 3 options. Without being a national act or something like that in the
Right,
Southeast.
right. Yeah, of course.
Like
But-
you made a TikTok song and it went viral and now you're...
Right. But even for like smaller bands like us with Fence, it's like playing the weddings versus playing the frat parties. It's like the frat parties are more open to the original music.
Right.
And I feel like you don't get locked into that one type of show.
Yeah.
All right, we decided we were going to take a little intermission. Brandon's bladder couldn't hold it any longer, so he had to go to the bathroom. And
Had to get another drink.
yeah,
you know.
we all had to get some drinks. You know how this goes over here. We're just hanging out.
We chilling.
But I did have a point that I wanted to make on that last subject we were talking about. The private sector and this, that, and the other. So, I work in a community and it's all very high-end individuals who have a lot of income, like that's disposable and this, that, and the other. I mean, everybody's driving around these electric cars with the motors in the wheels up there now, right?
Wow.
So, we have some high-end clients. Well, I know one of them, I started talking to him about playing music and stuff. He's like, I got this guy. I want you to call this guy and see, what he says about your band, because I'd love to, get you into some places and stuff. So I called him, and I can't remember his name, but he's some booking agent up here in North Alabama, and he basically told me on the conversation, if you have a $10,000 promo video, I can get you booked wherever you want to, whenever you want to. For just about $10,000 a night, and that's exactly what I did. I kind of scoffed just a little bit. And
Okay,
I'll let him
I'll
make
go
his
get one of
point.
those real quick.
I let him make his point, and I was just like, "Well, I'll let you know." And basically hung up the phone on him. And shortly after that, we were playing a show for the University of Alabama out on the Walk of Champions. I think it was an A-Day. One of the guys from Eat My Beats actually knew this guy.
That's a music store up in
yes,
Tuscaloosa.
up in Tuscaloosa.
Also do a lot of production work.
Yeah, shout out to Eat My Beats. They got whatever you want to. Best music store up there.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
But they were
Almost
running production
everything.
for us, and the guy's like, yeah, I had a guy ask me about y'all the other day. And I was like, yeah, I'm running sound for them. And, we've done it before. They're really good and all this, that, and the other. And I think he kind of changed his tune, like, after talking to that sound guy. So, I mean, apparently there's even higher end stuff, that you can get these people with a lot of capital to just pay for out the
1,000%.
But all that again is going to be clientele,
right? Well, I know you've also got like these corporate gigs that you can get, which I don't exactly know how much they pay, but
I think that's some of what.
Yeah, I actually played one of them last month with Blaine down in Biloxi.
They do pretty well. I know.
Can you like run through like if there was any difference besides the pay, like on like the show quality, anything like that?
I feel like corporate gigs have to be awkward. Like,
I don't know.
I feel like they can go either way.
I mean, it was just in the one of the, I don't know what you call it, ballroom, whatever, meeting rooms down there in one of the casinos. But what the hell was it? Beau something? Beau Rivage?
Beau Rivage,
man. The Beau Rivage. That's where they had the cowboy after party for the PCA rodeo finals back when I was just getting into college. Continue, sorry.
Anyway, they hired Blaine. I don't know. What is your question then? What are you asking me?
Well, first of all, it doesn't have to be an exact figure, but give me like a range on like what a musician was getting paid for like a gig like that per person, not as a band. And then like production quality, like did they treat you guys good? Like
we
was
had
it
to do our
better
own
than
production.
usual? Anything
We
like
had to
that?
do our own production. Because they had speakers in there, but I think they wanted to charge so much to get somebody to come in there and run them.
You had to bring your own stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So he just gave them a flat rate, and we all made pretty good,
It wasn't It wasn't
Can you
anything
give me
to
like a range? Like
We made $600. I'll tell you, I don't give a shit.
a person.
per person?
Yeah, a
That's
piece.
not bad.
For the whole gig.
Not the whole gig.
So
each person.
those kind of shows are really hard to come by.
And
but
hotel
they're-
rooms, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're also like what everybody's aiming for,
Right.
Like we have the only thing that I can even think of that's come close to some stuff that we've done with Ronnie Gilly in the past, but also, we have something coming up in the future for the one of the first Tuscaloosa home games. We'll be out back there on the Walk of Champions again, and they're basically like, okay, to put this in perspective, a bar gig 4 hours, right, is going to get around $100 to $300 a night per band member.
Right.
And that varies everywhere all across the state. So we wound up jacking, like going up a little bit on the price on this one because obviously, it's a very high stature show is what I'm trying to say. And they wanted to double the time frame that we were playing. Right. So we went from, making around $300 a piece to around $800 a piece just because they wanted to like rack up the time frame. So with individuals like what he's talking about at casinos and stuff like that, especially if I was him, I would have charged out the butt for that. But like running equipment, that's also going to be a big thing. Like
that's huge.
With
Like,
us and all types of groups. Like it's so much easier, and I'm sure you guys can attest to this, if the venue has got the equipment set up, you plug in and play.
Right, yeah. Whether it's the venue's equipment or at like the frat parties, they'll generally have like a production team that supplies the stage, the backdrop, the PA, everything.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. If we're on that subject, a lot of fraternities only have maybe 2 or 3 parties where they run big, because when they do production, they're paying 10 plus grand for production.
Yeah, it's a huge ordeal.
And then they're paying bands anywhere from $2,000 to $15,000, depending on the size of the band. They can't have production ran at every event.
Right.
They just can't. It's not feasible.
Right.
They can't afford it. So for bands to have their own production and speakers and tops and whatever to go in there and do it, it's just how it is.
Yeah,
you got to be able to
those places
provide that.
Those places should generally be expecting to pay a little bit more if they're asking the band to provide all that stuff. Because
you compensate that into the price.
That's usually all we ask,
but some people don't think
some
about
people
that.
don't give a shit.
Like, especially like certain like venue owners, not like the private parties are usually pretty understanding with that, but venue owners, they don't get that.
What do you think Chew Molly's Bar
Oh God.
would say if you know,
Are we
we
about to-
told
are we-
them
are we
that we
blasting
were
Chew
going to
Mollies right
charge
now?
them. But they're not going to hear this, I promise you. And if they do, shout out to you, Miss Linda. Stop being so cheap. So I love you. You know that. If we were going to go in there, play 4 hours, we had to bring our own equipment. It was all very high end production.
Yeah.
Right? High end production.
$100 a head.
That's exactly what they say, wouldn't they?
Yep.
And so that's where
She refuses to go.
she
up on it.
refuses. She refuses. So you got, bad. I don't want to say it like on the microphone again. Sorry, Miss Linda, but you know how to stop being cheap. We have to bring all that equipment in. We sacrifice hours of our time and stuff.
Right.
So if there's any venue owners out there, just take all that into consideration. It's so much easier for a band, and a band wants to come play for you more if you have your own equipment, for one. But obviously that's not the case all the time. So if we do have to bring our own, just know we might, have to go up a little bit because that equipment costs money.
There's two things.
Hauling it there costs money.
Yeah,
Right.
driving.
And there's
Driving.
two things I wanted to add to that. So one, like if you cheap out on bands and you treat them poorly and you make them provide production and don't compensate and all these other things.
Don't get a bar tab. You don't get food.
Yeah, like first of all, you're only going to get the bottom of the barrel of bands. You might have a good band come through every now and then, but they're going to play there once and be like, oh,
Not again.
okay,
Sorry.
never again. So you're going to get low tier bands, which is in turn going to not bring in as many people. So in the long run, you're losing money. Number two, if you do have a sound system, please, for the love of God, hire a sound guy.
Yeah.
They're not crazy expensive, but don't have your own PA and expect every band that comes through to run it.
Yeah.
Because every band runs it differently, and most of them don't know how to operate the system that you have because every system's different. And they're going to tweak it and mess it up. And then the band that comes in after, I'm sorry, I'm on a rant. I'm on a tangent.
I'm about to get on one too.
This pisses me off because then the band that comes in after somebody's screwed up the system, usually one of our bands, has to go in and fix whatever the hell they did to this poor soundboard.
And so on that note too, they're all different pieces of a puzzle. You got to make sure all these pieces work. So I'm not going to name the venue. Played somewhere last week, right? They had just replaced the sound, like speakers, right? They didn't let hardly any of those musicians know anything about this. And, if you directed into that speaker, the speaker worked fine. But the cables that they had going from their house board to the speaker were bad. And that caused like another good 20 minutes worth of confusion trying to figure out, upon arriving to the show and get ready. So you got to take care of it too, right? For sure.
Absolutely. They venue owners, not all of them, but a lot of venue owners just don't know anything about music. And so they get somebody to come install it. They don't learn the system themselves. They just expect the bands who come through to figure all that stuff out. And then it gets torn up. Routing gets messed up. Channels stop working.
Blown.
And then they don't understand when they have to fork out more money to repair or get somebody to come in and fix these things. But it's just a lot of things that people don't consider. And unless you're in that business or somebody who is, it's just stuff you don't think about.
Yeah.
We've been in it long enough that we kind of know, and it's grating when people don't consider those things. I mean, even something as simple as like parking or like a load-in spot. Yeah. It's just like, oh my God, can you secure us a spot less than 3 blocks away for us to load in the equipment?
All these things, man. Like if you're going to be
not asking for much.
Yeah. If you're going to be a venue or an establishment that has music pretty regular and that is something that you want to continue doing, just do yourself a favor and, invest in a sound system, get a sound man, take care of it, all of these things. And just think about what the band's got to do because, people don't give us a lot of credit most of the time. So, just think about all the logistics and get you a game plan for when you have bands come to your venue.
1,000%. Oh, boys, we're a little over the hour mark.
Wow, really?
We are.
Gage, you still doing cocaine?
Hey,
No
man.
longer part of my life.
Just throw me under the bus like that.
I'm gonna edit that out. I'll fix it in post, Gage. Don't worry.
Thank you, Fletcher. I would. I'm glad.
Alex, you still on the rocks?
Absolutely.
On the rocks?
Yeah, every day.
Sky Bar 5.
Sky Par 5.
What happened to it?
I didn't even know you knew about that.
We learned today.
We learned today. Waiting on you.
Sorry about that.
Hey man,
Sorry, dude.
I was about to say, and this
It
could be like the
happens.
jokey part of the podcast, but
Yeah, things might derail in these last few minutes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you can take
Bear with
what's
us.
good, take
Hang
what's
on.
bad.
You can just turn it off right now if you
We're
want.
gonna go into the topic of women.
This is
Oh,
where it
God.
gets really good.
This is where it gets crazy. So,
Oh God.
we have had too many times to count situations that arrive. I don't want to say it, but usually at shows, right? That involve, girls, and some are good, some are bad. So, I don't know, guys, anything come to mind? One you just want to
Get off your chest.
just get off your chest? I got one that I would just want to throw out there.
I
That
knew you would. You started talking about it. I knew you had something brewing up over there.
So this is the best one that I can recall right now. So it was one of these weekends when we were in Tuscaloosa a couple of years ago. Tuscaloosa kept us pretty busy all the time, and we still play a show up there every now and then. Again, we're going to be over there for the first home game. That's all I'm going to say about it. We found some. We found some girls, right?
Well, strange, y'all.
at the show, right?
God.
And
What's strange?
there's two of them. There's two of them. I want to say this. Man, I'm trying to remember. Do you remember where the show was at? You know what I'm talking about.
Where the
This
show was
happened
at?
multiple
Yeah, what-
times.
where-
What do you mean?
where-
I know
Time.
exactly where the show was at.
Okay, where was the show at?
It had to be Rhythm, right?
I thought it was Rhythm. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it was Rhythm one of the first few times we played at Rhythm and Brews in Tuscaloosa. And these girls, they were all about it. Country girls, a good thing about Rhythm. That's where the country girls come in. I got a mechanical bull for a reason. So they want to go hang out afterwards and everything else. And no, Alex, it was before Rhythm. I'm now thinking about it. It was going to be when we came to I flew up with Davis Hughes. Shout out to Davis Hughes.
This mug took a plane.
Yeah.
from
To
Troy.
Tuscaloosa.
He was in flight school.
Showed up on a damn private jet.
Yeah, no, I remember we were in the no, it was not that at all. It was
We
a
gotta drive.
2-person prop plane, made you think you were going to die the entire time in it.
It's like
Me and
rickety
Brandon had to
old
fucking drive.
Exactly. So I'm in the air
Took
heading
fucking
to the
45
show.
minutes.
I'm in the air heading to this gig.
What, do you have your guitar in the back of the
Yeah,
plane?
no, we put all my equipment.
That's
in the back.
insane.
So we're flying up there just because Davis had to get his hours, and I was like, yeah, let's go. And I'm texting. We're at the point in the plane ride where you can turn your service back on, right? So I'm texting Jake, which was still in the band at that point, and hey, we're just like today. We're talking about when we're gonna get there, what's the ETA, all this stuff, and I was like, I don't know, I'm flying. I should be there within an hour. And he's like, you're flying? I'm like, yeah, dog, I'm in the air right now. And so we get
What you know
there.
about altitude?
Yeah, what the all right. So I'm glad you brought that up. We get to Tuscaloosa. Davis Hughes, I hope you're listening to this. We're in the middle of, the air, right? 30,000
right.
feet. I don't know.
don't
He
think it was
corrected
that
me
far.
on that. Yeah, I was going to say, he
What the
corrected
fuck?
me on this the other day. Maybe 20,000, something
I don't
like
think
that.
that plane can get
15.
that high.
15. It was over 10,000 feet. I know that.
He was
Anyway,
in the air.
We're in the air.
It's the point. He was in
So we get to Tuscaloosa. We get to Tuscaloosa, and I'm fangirling out. I'm looking at Bryant Denny Stadium, taking Snapchats from the air, this, that, and the other.
Got a story.
And Davis is like, Gage, what are you doing, man? Put your phone down. Help me look for the airport.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
like,
I thought you knew where that was.
yeah, I just kind of looked to the left like, you don't know where the airport is? How are we going to land this thing? And we circled Tuscaloosa about 3 times. I started really getting scared. We were going to run out of fuel because they don't hold a lot of fuel in
No,
those
they're
planes.
really small.
And we finally found it and landed.
Oh my God.
That night we had a show at Rounders. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rounders.
And that's the only time we've ever played at
Man,
Rounders.
I forgot about that.
One and only, y'all. You hit us up.
Yeah. Sorry for sorry to Davis on this night. He was actually talking to both of these girls like the whole night, and he was after the blonde one. Remember?
Yeah.
And
I don't, but
well, she was after me, and then she had a friend that was after Alex, and
Didn't this man just get married? Don't tell all his.
Davis didn't have it. Davis went back to his apartment that night. He was a good boy. Josie, do not hound him about this. We went to the Hotel Indigo where they had a room because they were from, out yonder.
Yeah.
And what did you do with these young ladies?
And we didn't do anything with them. We told them bye, and we were gone. So, all right, anybody want to take another story now?
When he's speaking of a flying in Tuscaloosa,
That was a terrible story.
Yeah, I know. Well, you can't really say all of the details.
Yeah.
I started realizing what Gage was talking about, and I was like, dude, just stop.
Hey, he got his balls licked, y'all. So it made me think about that one story, the Tuscaloosa, one of the first times we was
Again,
going
we
there.
spent a lot of time in Tuscaloosa.
Remember we was going right over the railroad tracks, and that girl was sitting on the curb on the sidewalk, had her panties pulled off to the side. She's just pissing all over the sidewalk.
Oh my God.
I'm on my phone again. Brandon reaches his arm across me while he's driving through Tuscaloosa. That girl's pissing. And there's families walking down across
On the other
with
side of the
children, and this girl's just out
got
holding
that
it.
thing
Oh my
out
God.
in the
on
air,
the
y'all.
sidewalk. Got it out.
Open breeze,
Dang.
just letting them have it.
Golly,
That sounds like something you'd see down
that
in
wasn't
Mobile.
that weekend, but it was
College
one
town,
of the
baby.
following ones.
Yeah.
Golly,
So Fletcher, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? What you got going on, man?
Man, I'm just hanging around. Man, I got the old studio down here. I work with a lot of bands, which I feel like most people listening to this podcast already kind of know
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I've been working with you guys for probably 2.5 years, something like that, maybe longer.
That's about what it is. Whenever beer cans started,
Yeah.
that's the first one that we decided we were
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
move down here for.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a whole.
We did. What other one for that? The one you wrote.
Oh yeah,
More to Life than this.
and Snake. Well, no, Snake in the Grass was before.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
More to Life than
That
This.
was mine. Yeah, and that was actually the song that I played that night for your dad to
That's
watch.
right. Yeah, it was funny. It kind of came full circle because
Yeah.
that I think that was the first song my dad ever really heard you play.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was the first
Wonder
song that
why.
we finished recording whenever you came to me years later. That's kind of cool.
I've taken that through
That's
a few
crazy.
different producers, and I will say that Fletcher, you have done the absolute best on it, and
Oh, it was thanks to those sweet, sexy guitar.
definitely
licks that-
helps out having
Alex
Jake
Tillery
and
put on
Coda, putting their little
Yeah.
from
And-
Fence, putting their little thing on it.
and Alex.
Of course, Alex, he
Oh.
knows that already.
I added in.
I don't have to.
Alex,
I
compliment him.
went on a cruise that week, and Coda had to fill in for me on the recording session, which he did a great job.
they both did amazing. Yeah.
With my band Fence, the other two guys in it, so it's me and Alex, and then Jake and Coda, and they're kind of they're my hired guns. Like we talked about that earlier. Like any project that comes through that I need drums or guitar on, I just send it to them, and they send it back to me, and I'm like, "Yep, that's what it needed."
And that on this
it
one, it
works.
all worked out where all of us were together.
Right.
I remember one lick. I mean, you can hear it in the second verse of More to Life Than This, but it's just an accessory guitar part.
Mm-hmm.
And when Jake started coming up, he was like, "Wait a minute, play that back.
Mm-hmm.
I got something. Hold on."
Yeah.
And it took him. You remember that? And it took him 2 takes,
Yep.
and just
Had it.
that amazing do 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 little accessory
Yeah.
guitar part in the back that makes
On which song?
More to Life.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You if you play it, you can hear it. I mean, it's just a little accessory guitar that comes in on the second chorus. But Jake just out of nowhere, I got something. I got to throw that down.
When
Yeah.
you get a lot of great minds together on a song, it could be
Well,
a
and that's-
disaster or a great thing.
Right. Well, that's kind of what you were asking me. It's like, what do I have going on, man? Like, I don't have anything going on if I don't have the bands that I work with. Because, yeah, I've got a studio and everything, but if I don't have a bunch of cool, really talented musicians to work with and give me good stuff to mix and master and produce, I ain't got nothing.
Well,
So
thank
it's really y'all and Fence and all the different artists that I work with. I
Yeah,
mean,
man. I'm glad
y'all are what I got going on. So,
I'm glad we could all be friends.
oh yeah, man.
we all connected.
Yeah,
Connect the
I was
sausage.
about to say it's just so funny how life works because like sitting here, I don't know what 10 years ago, us doing those little YouTube videos
in this
never-
exact room.
Yeah, never imagined like we would have so many mutual music connections that just span really all across the Southeast at this point, just because of what we've done with our music career.
Right. And we're still small fries in the grand scheme of things, but it's like we've just been in it so long. We've met so many people and done so many things, been so many places. Like we know it just as well as anybody,
Yeah.
but it's just.
I mean, we
I
are
don't know what the hell I'm doing, honestly.
I mean, we know the business. It's
He
like
doesn't know
I
what
wouldn't
he's
say we
doing.
know what the hell we're doing on stage, but
Brandon's
we
motto is "Fake it till you make it."
yeah,
I mean, I'm just trying to do what I hear. So
right.
it's working so far.
But I mean,
Well, Alex, speaking of that, I want to talk to you for just a second because I know you've been that guitar mug for a minute. You've been playing with some pretty big names even before you joined Smith Distillery.
I have.
I want to hear some about that.
question mark.
I want to.
Question mark. That was not a period. That was the question.
Did you not play with Hank Jr.?
No, I never played with Hank Jr.
I thought you played with Hank Jr.
I never played with Hank Jr. I did merchandise sales for Hank, went on tour, helped set up the stage, kind of did some.
Oh, so you always say I went on tour with Hank. And
yeah, I was
made me
definitely
think-
on tour with Hank.
That's how
you
you
did.
phrase it, though. I always like, oh damn, Alex played.
no,
with
I was
Hank.
on tour.
To defend him, I just went to a Hank show at the BJCC not too terribly long ago, and it's an operation with his merch stuff. I'm sure he had his work cut out.
No,
for him.
it was really fun. I met a lot of cool people. I met Brad Paisley briefly, Chris Young.
Met Kid Rock, didn't you?
I know Kid Rock.
knows
Buddies
Kid
with
fairly
him,
well.
neighbors.
No, I'm not buddies with him, but he's got some property down by my mom's house. Cool guy. Yeah, I was like 18, 19 when I took that job, and it was really cool.
Yeah, well, that's a cool experience. It's all about experiences,
Oh,
ladies
yeah.
and gentlemen.
Speaking of
So-
experiences, you know, you talk about us being
It was
small
an
fries,
experience.
and we are. I'm
It
not
was a pleasure.
debating that. But we have had some good, exposure to bigger artists. I mean, how many times have we, and shout out to Ronnie Gilly, talk shit about him all we want to, but he gave us some good opportunities.
He did.
So I
right.
know Ronnie Gilly is like a pretty big name, or not a big name, but like
In this area.
He's infamous in Alabama.
there you go.
Like, do you want to kind of give a rundown of who he is and like the get up?
I think
he had going on?
Brandon or Alex would be better off like saying what he does and what his history has been. But
And then what is
I
it?
don't remember the rock band that he kind of promoted, but I know he had a big hand in like a Blackberry Smoke,
band was called Houston County or something like that.
something like that.
No.
And
He
Daryl
had a
Worley,
song called Houston
Tracy
County.
Lawrence.
He was over Bama Jam back when that was a
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah, Bama Jam, big festival back in the 2010s, 2012 era.
and then he turned that spot out there where he had the festival into now
Bama Slam.
Bama Slam
Bama
Saloon.
Farms. That
Uh,
Bama Slam Saloon is on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a bunch of big names. They've had like Nelly.
And so that's what I was getting
Yeah.
at. We've technically opened up for Nelly. We never got to meet him. We've technically opened up for, we've been Daryl Worley's like backing band one night
Right.
because of Ronnie Gilly.
Multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah,
On top of that, Colt Ford? Who else?
Clay Walker.
But
Clay Walker.
It's cool. It's crazy the things you like get to do in this line of work. Like it's like random opportunities to do really cool stuff will just fall into your lap out of nowhere, and you're like,
It's all about who you know.
yeah,
Not what you know,
I'm not saying you got to have the talent to be able to perform the gig.
yeah. You
obviously,
can't
but-
get up on stage and just make it look like an idiot. But like as long as you're cohesive as a band,
Yeah,
and you know the right people, stuff can just kind of happen before you even realize it's happening.
And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, just clientele.
yeah. But the bad thing about it is, like I said, our buddy Jake got a chance to play with LV Shane and just can't afford to do it. They don't pay
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, let's talk about. So Jake opened up with a band for Alan Jackson,
So this is Jake Bostic.
Jake
by the way. This
Bostic.
is
Our
their
first-
previous-
Our first bass player, original
and
bass
he's
player.
he's had tons of offers from other, I guess, national bands or national artists. And when it comes down to it, they don't pay what you think they would pay.
Yeah, at least not starting out.
Yeah, not starting out.
Which I get that, but it's just like I said, it's kind of discouraging to work your ass off to learn the skill to be able to get to that point, and then you can't even do the gig because
Yeah, like
you're gonna go broke doing it.
Like you said, you work your ass off. You play these like cover gigs and bar shows and stuff, hoping to get to the point where you can play original music,
Yeah.
and then you get to the point where you can tour playing original music, and nobody wants to pay you.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
This is a fucking joke.
It's like, what have I been working for all this time? But it's, I don't know.
I think it's better just be an independent artist and just try to get your own name out there, and then you can control everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Fletcher, I think
Yes.
you should ask us each individually one question. If you could come up with one.
Alex, how you just be looking like that?
I just
How
be
you been looking
like
so
that.
damn sexy?
Frat boy.
Shit just got real.
We've entered the gay. We've entered the gay
We
segment.
gotta close it out somehow.
Yeah, we're
gotta close it out in a
We're
big
getting
way.
to the point where we got to wrap it up. That's tough, man. Like,
We really don't wrap anything up.
We talked about the band as a whole, but we didn't really talk about individual.
individually, yeah. So like, I guess
Honestly, I'm just trying to think of a way to close this the best way.
right.
How do you?
I'll
how
go
do you
here all
about
night,
that?
y'all. I wish we was live, honestly.
You need to look into that, to be honest. Like,
Man, it doesn't have to close any certain way. I was just, is there anything that y'all want to
song.
plug? Yes.
Plug
Going
the song.
going back to Still Had You, y'all's new
Yep.
single. It's going to be out when?
July 4th, my bad. So, Independence Day, we're going to release it. We like to release songs on holidays. I don't know. It's just, it does better.
Feels
for us,
right.
That's
You know, it
Gage's
feels right.
decision.
God almighty. Yeah, I make the majority of the decisions, if you can't tell. So, July 4th, Still Had Use coming out, all streaming platforms. So, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work out on this one. You got the other one. So, there ain't no excuse.
No excuse.
I got all my family members like, I don't have that. You got YouTube, don't you? It'll be out on YouTube. So,
Call
just
the
remember
radio
that.
station.
Quit
They'll have it.
all that bitching.
Yeah. So July 4th, Still Had You. Again, that's going to be our, 80s, 90s kind of throwback to some good country living.
a
and other
simpler
things.
time.
Yeah.
What was?
Y'all
Exactly.
call it WOPP and tell them y'all want to hear it. Still Had You. That's the radio station, ain't it? Not.
I don't know. I don't live in
WOPP.
Yeah.
WAP.
Pretty sure you're
They always
right.
say W.
I'm pretty sure you're right, but that's a little ways away from here. So we got to call it 94.3. We'll see what we do.
I've never listened to FM radio in op. Like, that's just not something that's.
I have. He's right, but it's fine.
Fletcher, I want to see you become like an FM radio host.
He could do it.
This
He
is
could
my
do it.
origin story.
But that's the first plug. This probably is not going to be out by the time we do this. We're playing tomorrow, the Village at Baytown Wharf, right? Our next show after that. Hopefully we do something else before then, but right this second is going to be, I believe, the 29th of September.
Is it a big show?
The 4th,
Damn, that's a long way away.
the 4th of September. I'm sorry. So that's going to be the first Alabama home game. We'll be right out on the Walk of Champions.
Nice.
Um,
Hell yeah.
time hasn't been announced yet. They're going to do that a little bit closer to when
Well,
ESPN.
y'all go
figures it out.
follow Smith Distillery on Facebook, Instagram. I'm sure they'll post,
Yeah.
the time and
Maybe we
day
can
when.
when we can get on ESPN.
Yeah, there's a good possibility. But yeah, I'm sure
we've
they'll.
been there before.
I'm sure they'll
Just
post
letting
all
you
the
guys know.
details when it gets closer to that. So y'all follow them.
And then
stay tuned. And
yeah, and then on that, individually anyway, my name is Gage Smith. I'm going all around the place, like playing solo stuff too. Whenever I'm not lucky enough to have these guys come together and we can play a show. And so is Brandon. You'll plug your stuff.
Yeah, man. Y'all look me up. Michael Brandon Music, Facebook, Instagram. I got a song out. Be Mine for Tonight. I didn't record it with Fletcher, but we'll be doing one.
Wow,
Despite that, it's a big, it's a
I just wanna
banger.
because
Wow, dude.
obviously, I'm not knocking anything. I'm just letting people know that I didn't record this song with Fletcher because we've been talking about the studio and this and that. I am going to record some stuff with him in the future.
and it's gonna sound great.
Yeah.
I just feel it. I feel it.
You get the vocals
sure.
and the drums on that one, under the same guy.
It's one
Yeah.
and done.
Maybe we can do it at my house too if I can figure out how to work on
Golly,
that
you can
shit.
probably do the acoustic guitar under him too if you wanted to. The
Yeah.
There we go.
jack of all trades over here.
So, any big gigs that you got coming up with some of your other bands that you wanted to?
Yeah, actually, we're opening up for Randy Hauser with Blaine
Snap!
on June the 26th
Heck yeah!
in Panama City.
where at.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that one.
That's sick. That's a pretty big deal.
Shit, I wish I knew more about it.
He said, I'm just a drummer.
Yeah, I just show up.
About to say, I'll just show
They
up.
didn't even tell me about it.
I just
So,
work here, man.
I just heard about it. But somewhere down there in
No, dude,
Panama City.
I have that shit happen all the time. My parents always ask me, it's like, where are you playing this weekend? I was like, I don't know. Alex booked it. It's like, I'll figure out when I hit the road.
But yeah, staying on the road, keeping the roads hot, y'all. I feel like I'm in
Rubber
my damn.
band stretched out.
I feel like I'm in my damn truck more than anywhere else.
Keep it wound up to around 90.
Alex, anything you wanted to plug, talk about before we sign off?
I mean, you know everything that's going on.
Shoot. I guess we can talk
You
about
know
Vince
what it
for
is,
just
dog?
for just a second,
Yeah,
if you want to.
just go ahead and
Since we're half this band is also
Yeah, go
half
ahead
of
and
Fence.
explain to us how Fence stole you away from us.
Are we opening up a can of worms here?
Oh God! Damn! I thought we were about to end this podcast.
I thought we were going to avoid this whole topic.
We got we got another hour. I'm sorry, everybody.
We're giving Joe Rogan a run.
Part 2.
End scene.
Yeah.
No.
Y'all go ahead and talk. I was just talking shit.
No, Fence is an interesting band. It was something that I joined in college, and Alex kind of joined as a hired gun, starting out. Like we just
I took Boyd's place.
our buddy
Starting out.
Boyd Blackman was our original second guitar player.
Which, by the way, he was also
Didn't even know
like
that.
the follow-up bass player after you left with us.
That's right.
So
Yeah. So Boyd's a multi-instrumentalist. He kind of fits in wherever he needs or is
He
needed.
fits the mold.
Yeah. Fits the holes.
He fills the
Which
holes.
Boyd
He
moved up to
fills the holes.
Nashville. He's doing great.
Speaking of filling holes, Boyd, I heard he got it in recently, y'all. He told us. Love you, man.
Damn
Now
it,
he's gonna
boy.
listen to this. Don't cut it out. Leave it in.
damn it, boy! Congrats, Boyd.
Boyd was a big fan of having us on the podcast. So
Proud of that mug.
we got to shout out Boyd.
Proud of that mug.
Boyd, I hope
That's
that
my
PRS
dude.
is treating you right, man.
That's my
I'm
dude,
glad you
man.
bought that for me.
Boyd, I'm never gonna forget your dad like cutting us off from playing Highway to Hell in church.
Oh my
Don't
God.
play that way to hell in church. What the hell?
We were just fucking around. We were playing. I was playing drums, if that tells you anything. So
Oh my gosh.
God, I wish I was there.
yeah, he's like, "Is that really a song you need to be playing in church?"
But yeah, getting back to it, like Fence is an interesting band. Like you came in and filled that spot when Boyd moved to Nashville.
Yeah.
And you've been kind of playing with us for the past year and a half.
Yeah, something like that, maybe.
Something.
Going on 2. Not to open up another can of worms, but like when we, I guess collectively as a band decided to take, I don't want to pin it on you, but whenever
it's me. It's me.
well,
Like,
I mean, it happens.
I wanted a full-time job to pair with musicianship,
Right.
and it's
It's hard to make that work.
for me. Yeah, no, it is, but at the same time, it works fine as long as you plan it out.
Right.
And so
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think the big thing with you was you wanted to stop playing the small fry shows.
Yeah,
you
going back to
whole gigs.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
the
at
grimy
dive bars and that
gigs.
kind of stuff. You were like, I want to be more selective with the gigs
Yeah.
that I take, and therefore the frequency of your gigs is a little bit more spread out.
That is
which-
exactly right.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's a valid strategy. It's
Yeah.
just like
So exactly right. We want to play that stuff where we make that dough and we
Right.
feel good about doing it. Right.
you don't hate
And
yourself at the end of the night. 'Cause you're like,
Fence, I don't think
I do that
is
quite
there yet. And
Right.
so that in that regard, y'all play more.
right.
Right.
We take whatever we can get, and so Alex was looking for some more gigs to pick up to fill in those empty weekends, and he sat in with us a few times, and we were like, all right, so
Yeah, it just worked out.
He got a little something.
He has that effect on
Alex,
people.
Alex is
He can hang.
Alex
He
is
can hang.
Alex is an equal member of both bands, and we love him. And Fence is we're working on our second record right now, trying to get things rolling. Hopefully, have some cool music out pretty
Fletcher's
soon.
close to an equal member of both bands
Do y'all
here,
have a name
even
for the
though he's
record?
recording
We do,
engineer on this
actually.
side. Yeah, what's
the
the record name?
the new record name? I guess I'm allowed to drop. Yeah, it's fine.
Sunset Death.
Yeah,
Let's just say
Sunset
it.
Death.
It sounds hard.
It is hard.
Wait till you see the album artwork.
I'm already in love with it.
Did you do it or you had somebody do it?
We hired a guy.
Well,
off
I like
Instagram.
the little video game thing y'all got.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
those. But no, we hired a guy on Instagram that we really like to do a record for us, or a record cover. It's kind of it's like a canyon. It's like a canyon with a sunset in the back and a horse with a grim reaper riding it. I mean, it's like it's heavy.
That's a good place for us to like wrap everything up though. Like album artwork, so that's like the what you guys got for your next record coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds really dope. We're gonna do a little bit of a tape recorder, like
Cassette.
a
Not a recorder.
cassette tape. I couldn't find the right word for it. For the album artwork of Still Had You. Just
So it's like a throwback.
just
Yeah, a little
throwing.
nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly. That time.
Yeah,
It's obsolete now. It ain't coming back. You know. So
If y'all go back to the 90s, take me with you.
please, me too.
It's crazy. Even if that technology made a comeback, all those old tapes would be so like deteriorated.
Yeah.
Like none of them would work, which is so sad.
Some new technology is good, but not everything is good.
Not everything.
Like Facebook and shit. I guess it's good for the most
So
part. but-
well eloquently said, Brandon. Like Facebook and shit.
I mean,
All right, all right, everybody.
and stuff.
All right, everybody. Well, it has been a blast talking with you guys. Like I said, I'm honored to call y'all friends. Glad we're in the same scene, just trying to make this shit work. And yeah, I guess that's it for this episode. I want to thank
Appreciate
everybody
you.
for listening. Tune in for the next episode. We'll have somebody hopefully more interesting.
We hope to get a lot of hits on this, y'all. Y'all better listen to this bitch all the way through.
Did I hear Dave Gallagher is possibly making an appearance?
So I will hopefully be having Dave Geiler, which is the owner of Premier Entertainment Group out of Dothan. They do production for, they do production for everything.
Yeah,
Everything.
all over the
Everything.
Southeast. They've done production for metal bands, for like Southern rock bands. They've done live stream events for NASA. Like all kinds of stuff. He should hopefully be in later this week.
this isn't Peg. This isn't Peg.
Yeah,
we're
Peg.
doing.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
All right.
Peg. PEG.
Come on,
Premier
Oh,
Entertainment.
sweet.
Yeah,
They've ran
y'all.
some shows for us,
Yeah,
Like,
I mean they do everything from small events all the way up to
Great
like
business, by the way.
oh yeah, they've got like literally warehouses full of sound gear for any and every event that
Kyle,
comes their way.
what's
And,
his name? Kyle, somebody who we
Panda?
went to.
Harris.
Kyle Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah, our buddy from Troy. Shout out to you, Kyle.
Yeah, we met him at Rain when Gage got kicked out of Rain.
But that's,
Anyway, he
but-
works there.
But yeah, so hopefully I'll be having him on later this week. Have another episode out. Yeah, I'm stoked for the future of this podcast. I appreciate y'all helping it be what it is, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, guys, remember, don't do drugs. Unless, of course, you're doing it with me.
Don't do it with
Say Kenny
Brandon. He'll
Powers.
get you in trouble.
KP.
Peace out.
Love y'all guys.
Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Thank you.
We're gonna fuck with y'all.
He's got to cut out that.